Cool, thanks Kate. Yeah, so my name's Damien, I'm a technical architect from Deloitte Digital, and my colleague Milan will introduce himself in a second. He's a solution architect. We're going to recap on some of the announcements from Dreamforce this year, so run down for those of you who might not have seen them on some of the key technical announcements and bits and pieces from Dreamforce, so we'll wrap through those. As Kate said, pay attention, there are some prizes to be had for those that are listening. So yeah, there'll be questions at the end on those. So we'll kick off with the first topic. Milan, over to you. I think your mic, please.
Hello? Yeah, but it's not for the room.
Okay.
Yeah. Hi everyone. How do we move the slides? Are you? Okay. Hi everyone. So my name is Milan. I'm a consultant here at Deloitte. And tonight, Damien and I will be taking you through some of the really interesting dev announcements from Dreamforce, what they mean to you. So starting off with the new Salesforce Mobile App. So can we just see some hands for who has seen the new Salesforce Mobile App? Perfect, quite a lot of you. There are a couple of things that it provides, starting firstly with the seamless transition for your users from desktop to mobile. So now on your mobile app, you can have all kinds of components. You can have the app launcher that you have on Salesforce desktop, and you can also have Lightning web components. And in addition to that, you can also have filters on those components, meaning that you can show different components based on where the user is looking at, if they're looking at a desktop or at the mobile app. The Einstein voice is another addition that is currently in pilot, but Einstein voice will allow people to make changes on the go, which means they can update their opportunities, or they can log a call, they can create a contact just using their voice, the same way they would interact with their Siri or Google assistants. As I mentioned, it's completely customizable. Even the Einstein voice provides admins the ability to create these commands themselves just using clicks, not code. Moving on, as you all know, in 2019, Salesforce announced the Lightning Web Components. Later that year, in Trailhead DX, they announced the open source framework for Lightning Web Components. And now they announced the base components library, which is open sourced as well, which is a library of 50 plus components, which allows you to basically jumpstart your UI and UX development based on these components. And what's most important is that they have been written in the most efficient manner. So they're built for efficiency and speed, meaning that you can learn just by looking at those components, and you just implement your code following the best practices, which the base components include. Moving on to the Salesforce API portal. This was announced at Dreamforce, and what the API portal was built for is for people to explore all the Salesforce APIs in one place. So now people can have the ability to explore every single API. They can learn every API using interactive documentation, and they can even they can mock up any API calls using this API portal, which is an amazing functionality because people can even go and learn the Salesforce APIs without having a Salesforce account. Has anyone seen the API portal or used it? Yet? Not? Okay. It's an amazing tool, and it would even replace some of the API mockup softwares that a lot of you are using. And two other announcements which weren't in Dreamforce, but as of Spring 20, but are quite big ones, especially for all of you here, developers. So first of all, there won't be any maximum daily cap of 1 million API calls for enterprise and professional works has been removed. So round of applause for Salesforce for this. And then the default daily API request allocation has been raised from 15,000 to 100,000. Quite big announcements in Spring 20. In terms of Einstein, 4 announcements made at Dreamforce. The Einstein Vision and Language app was announced. This is now available. It's already in the Salesforce App Exchange, so anyone can go and try and test it. With the Einstein Vision and Language, you can build AI-powered models just using clicks. With the vision part of it, you can analyze photos, you can analyze different objects within those photos, and you can categorize these pictures based on your business. While the language analytics provides sentiment and intent analysis, which allows you to analyze unstructured text specifically for sentiment, and you can categorize again different texts based on this. So imagine a use case of cases. A case comes in, it can be automatically categorized by using Einstein language. The Einstein multi-language is in pilot, which allows the Einstein language recognition to work in 6 languages, not just English. The OCR, which is optical character recognition, which is also in pilot. It allows you to identify text within images and process it. So for a lot of you who have worked in the financial industry, you all know clients always ask for any apps that can scan business cards and automatically put the contacts in the contacts object. So using Einstein OCR, you can build something which can do exactly that. And Einstein Voice, as I mentioned in the mobile app, it's already there. It's currently in beta, so you can create your own voice skills just using clicks. So any admin can do it, and you can deploy it to any device, which means that people can interact with Salesforce the way they would interact with their Alexas and Google Homes. And that takes us to Salesforce Blockchain. Now, blockchain, as you know, is a really complex technology to implement, especially when it comes to infrastructure. But what Salesforce have done is the ability for anyone to create blockchain apps and objects. And these Salesforce objects have exactly the same properties as your other Salesforce objects. Meaning you can have Lightning Web components on them, you can use Einstein, anything that you can use on a normal Salesforce object. And what this will provide you, though, is with the ability to connect your company to other companies in a digital way, in an immutable way as well. And the use cases that I have personally seen for Salesforce Blockchain until now is anything where you want to track the origin of the product that you're buying. So let's say you're going to your Costa or Starbucks and you buy your coffee, and you can scan a code, and you'll be able to see where the beans come from, which company shipped them, where the actual final product was produced. So you can basically track everything based on we're using the blockchain technology, the distributed ledger technology. Now I'm going to hand over to Damien to continue.
Cool, thanks Milan. Interesting stuff. Okay, cool. So moving on. Lightning Full sandboxes have been announced. So effectively, I think we're all familiar with the pain of sandbox refreshes, how long it takes, especially full copy ones, if they're in gigabytes in terms of data. So Lightning have announced full copy, Salesforce have announced full copy Lightning sandboxes. Effectively what they do is allow you to refresh within minutes. Refresh within minutes, and as many times as you like apparently. So all of the old pain of having to wait 30 days to refresh your sandboxes, manage data. I think a really good use case I've heard certainly is if you've got a problem in production, immediate issue, and you want to replicate that in a non-production environment and you need the data, you can do that obviously really quickly. Beforehand it might have been quite painful. Also, if you've got quite an environment that's heavily driven by metadata and data, like CPQ is a classic one. Some of the CPQ products have lots of data configuration in actual data. That means, again, you can replicate those really easily and without any pain. I don't have any clarity on how much they cost or how many you have. I understand you can create as many as you like. I don't know, anybody had anything that suggests otherwise or seen any limits, or Peter, anything? Speak to your AE.
I asked.
Ask nicely. Yeah, you heard it here first. Okay. With that often comes issues because you're replicating tons of production information into non-production environments, which leads nicely into data mask. So data mask effectively allows you to automatically kind of sanitize that data in three ways. Anonymization, which is effectively just scramble your data, so turns it into garbage, but data nonetheless. I'm not 100% convinced this is a word, but pseudonymization, I don't know if I've even pronounced it correctly. But yeah, so that kind of takes your data and replaces it with stuff that's sanitized, but still kind of looks meaningful. So replaces one first name with another first name, or city name with another city name. I'm not sure how rich and how sophisticated it is. But yeah, it's not just garbage, it replaces with something that looks actually meaningful. And then deletion, which just clears data. And that works, as I understand it, as part of your refresh. So as soon as the data hits the sandbox, it's clean. It's not a kind of post-refresh step. And then lastly, so real-time event monitoring. So in terms of preventing data loss, you can now configure security transaction policies of real-time events. So things like if there are anomaly patterns in how reports are being exported, large data volumes, you can trigger transaction security policies off the back of those to block the action or to silently notify an administrator or just record it in a log somewhere. They're real-time, and I think which event monitoring hasn't been in the past, and I think they're coming in spring 20. So yeah, and I think there's quite a small number of events initially, but they're going to expand as the releases go. So, and I think that's the last one in the list. So question time. Anup's got the vouchers. We've got 3 to give away. Is that right? And these are valid for I think all of the basic certs, app builder, admin, as well as the advanced ones like the admin. The architect certs. So not CTA though. Just to be clear. Okay, first question. How many lightning-based components have been in... Oh my God!
Where is my voucher?
Wow.
One per person though.
Yeah, it's hand up. And I'll be looking to my panel for official adjudication. Okay, next one.
100K.
I think that hand at the back went up first.
Yeah.
Yeah, give that man a voucher. Now, the last one, you have to be able to name all 3. Yep. Yeah, yeah, yes.
Anonymization.
Correct. Well done. All right, thanks everybody. We're going to hand over to Paul now.